Hello. Gonna go over the trades that I took today, my thought process, um, and yeah, let's get into it. Right. Right now it's Tuesday night, so this candle is gonna be like Wednesday. So let's just ignore that candle. Basically, this was the only candle that I saw in the morning. Um, Coming into this daily chart, what I'm thinking is that let's see the nine. So price, what's the volume as well? Yep. So price had a very strong impulse down, and if you look at the Bollinger Bands, it was outside the Bollinger Bands, so it was normal for it to snap back, right? Um, yeah. So once price snapped back to the 21, it's spending like several days around this area. What I was expecting is that, let's say if price were to continue, I'm expecting price to first break this 9 MA for some bearish moves lower. Um, if not, I was expecting some kind of manipulation higher above these swing highs for an ultimate, at least like a retest or continuation lower. Yep. So coming into today though, um, you can just tell by this daily chart, the range was very muted from the Asia and London sessions. So I wasn't really expecting much, just looking for some internal buy side and sell side liquidity that I can target. Because, well, this week is a shortened trading week. There was no news on this Tuesday, so it was very likely that it had an inside bar. So let's get into the lower time frames. Uh, so the 4 hour chart, I was kind of expecting like there was this like compression, range compression here. So after this breakout, I was expecting the move to be a fake out. Um, yeah, I was expecting the move to be fake. Same thing with the 1 hour chart. Same thing, just on a smaller time frame. But yeah, let's get into the day. Um, so this was PDH and PDL. Like that's what I marked out from previous day highs and previous day lows. So the entire Asia and London range was contained within PDH and PDL. Yeah, so coming into the morning, what did I see? I saw at 7:30 it took out Asia and London lows, started running up higher. Um, and so the only thing that I was looking for today was that I was watching the hourly chart. It would yeah, the hourly candle. So hourly candle close. Yeah, so it was this. That's because you couldn't see these candles, so it would just look like this. Um, Same thing with the 4 hour chart as well. Where's the 4 hour? Yeah, so right here. So like 4 hour well, you know, in hindsight, like this doesn't look as good, but in the moment, the 4 hour and the 1 hour chart um was kind of like leaving like a gap almost. If this candle were to close strong, it would have been a gap here. So my thought process was that I'm not expecting any major moves here. Um, it's a no news Tuesday. Uh, Short trading week. Not really expecting anything. So there's a high likelihood for price to just have like an inside day, and so I'm trying to fade these moves, any committal moves. So on this hourly chart, when it had such a strong move up, like kind of almost like if this was close strong, it would have been a gap. So I was expecting like some manipulation higher, and then ultimately like a retest back into this low because I don't think any hourly fair value gaps are going to be left in this type of market, right? Um, so going down to the 1 minute chart right here, this is internal buy side. So Price took internal buy side before the 9 a.m. candle open, and then it reversed lower, and then only to sweep it once again. So a second sweep of liquidity of internal buy side um, for a quick reversal lower, right? And so I took three trades today. So the first trade was just this initial break. Um, I was watching the 1,000 tick chart really closely in the nine. And so once price closed below the nine, I just took a quick short, quickly down to the 21 SMA. This was um, just like a scalp. Not really, it's like not really like my bread and butter type of trades. Um, yeah, honestly, it's not like the type of trade that I want to be taking in the future because it's just not my style. I like holding trades for longer. But if I am honest with myself, I was just trying to get the quick payout, like just trading it to plus 200 and then just chilling for the rest of the day because I did have things to do later on. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah, so took this quick scalp. It was I got out at a little bit over 10 points, so I got my plus 200. Um, but then I decided to take another trade. I believe the second trade I think it was around here. Um, yeah, it was around here. So basically what I was expecting Price to do was to have like this type of move where, okay, this looks like shit, but um, like a lower high, basically. So I was expecting this to be the high and then like a lower high for a reversal lower. Um, but instead Price did the opposite, where it had a lower high initially, but then it took it out and then had a second sweep of liquidity for move lower. Which is very interesting. Super cool. Um, so I took another trade. I think it was around here, and then I got stopped out. And um, at this point, I was negative 5 points, so like negative 100. Um, I felt a little bit annoyed because if I'm going to go for these like small scalp winners, to get plus 200, why am I taking this type of loser to get me in the negative? And like this is just how like the typical tilt day starts. So I was like, oh man, that sucks. I'm not gonna try to like rush into any new trades because honestly, like if it was a bad day, I might have like tried to enter long here and got completely cooked. Um, so like I'm happy, I'm proud that I didn't do that. Um, but yeah, I gotta do something about this $200 um day. Like, I mean I do want to get the payout and everything, but like this type of trading is just not good for me. Um, but yeah, once price had a second sweep of liquidity, which is in my setup, and I saw this move right here, that's like, all right, you know what? There's two things that price can do. So if it sweeps liquidity like this, it could just continue all the way down, create a breaker block here, and then like an entry would be in like the second AM macro later on. However, um, if it gives me like an entry like here, for example, then like I'd be interested in that as well. So we got the latter where price reversed lower, took out this like very small, super small swing low. And so it created a BPR here. I was expecting price. All right, so I was expecting price. Yeah, I definitely think that price could come at least back into this BPR um, for me to get an entry, right? And I think it'd be a really good risk reward because I'm just risking above these highs, and I can target these um, uh, these lows. I wasn't really targeting this low. Um, I mean, I could have, but it wasn't like it wasn't really near any draws. This level was London highs. Um, there's also like some BISI's inefficiencies here. There was inefficiencies here, but these already got filled out. So I didn't really see this low as significant. So I was targeting this. Yeah, so price, immediately reversed to like a greater magnitude than I expected because like I'm not really expecting this market to, do anything, too committal. Um, all I was expecting was, the hourly chart to have some manipulation and then reverse and create a wick. And then if it does this, like then it is not committal because it could reverse and continue higher, or it could just do this. It has a lot of optionality. So that's like that's what I was thinking. And same thing with this as well. Like um, after like these like bullish candles, all I'm expecting to do is just take like a short back down where it creates like the manipulation wick and it can continue higher if it wants to. And so that's why I took profits pretty early. I wasn't really expecting, this type of magnitude of a move, especially on a no news day like today. This move was around how much? That's insane. 177 points almost. Yeah, that's insane. Well, I definitely did not catch that much. Let's go on to see my executions. Um, I also did get a pretty shit feel, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so right here, the first trade was the 9, took out the 9, and then I got out at 10 points. That's pretty stupid, I'm not gonna lie. Um, Second trade was here. I was expecting like a lower high, and it was this kind of like a tight risk trade because I just had to put my stop above these highs. Um, so it worked out a little bit in my favor, but found some support and then reversed higher. So right here was the end of the 9 a.m. macro, or at the, yeah, like right at the very end of it. So I was like, all right, if price can give me a BPR entry, I could just put my stop above these highs. And this is like pretty tight entry. And yeah, so it reversed, took out these lows. Um, and yeah, it went a lot more, but I wasn't that that was not my move. I think this was the most obvious move to target, like especially with um, the nature of the market and the importance of just trying to remain ambiguous in this like no news Tuesday. So I feel like um, even though the move looked pretty sweet, I think taking the profits off here was the prudent thing to do. So I'm pretty proud of that. The only thing that does annoy me was how shit of a fill I got, because I was doing market orders. So 19053 is literally right here. So it was the worst fill possible. Yeah, it was pretty shit. It was still like almost like a 50-point move. Yeah, yeah, like a 50-point move, 995. But still, a little bit annoyed with that. I definitely could have gotten a lot more juice out of this. Wow, 40 more points lower. That's insane. Um, but yeah, overall, I can't say um I'm too unpleased with my trading. Um, like this trade right here, just taking the quick winner like that could be a problem in the future because the risk reward isn't there. And like I'm not a scalper. I don't call myself a scalper. I call myself an intraday trader. Scalping isn't really my style. Um, and really, whenever I scalp, that really shows to me that I really don't have any confidence in the market. Like I don't really have any like strong theses and ideas. And so, should I really be trading in a market where I don't have any strong theses? Maybe not. So that's something to consider for me later on. Well, not later on, tomorrow. Yeah. Um, this trade right here, hmm, I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say it's bad because I had like a lower high thesis that kind of aligned with like my idea um for this macro. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just it had a high chance of tilting me. Um, so that's something to watch out for. This trader here was pretty good. I don't really have anything to complain about it. I think I got a really good entry where I was able to, very nicely like put my risk at an area where I'm very comfortable with. Um, the exit kind of annoyed me, um, but it took out your target. Um, I think taking it off there was the prudent thing to do. It doesn't have to make this move every single day, um, or every single time. Yeah, so I think taking it off here I think it was the right thing to do. Yeah, and the market just like did a whole bunch of nothing for the rest of the day. Yeah, but looks like it might be interesting tomorrow with retail sales. Yep, so that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. These are my stats. Yep. And yeah, so just got the second payout today. Got deducted from my account. 150K XFA. So pretty stoked about that. And yeah, that's about it.